So welcome to the class, and in this we're going to talk about flexible exchange rates and how is it determined. So it's determined by demand for foreign exchange and supply of foreign exchange, and that's what we are going to do. So where the two meet, where demand is equal to supply, that becomes your foreign exchange rate that is determined in the flexible exchange rate system. So I want you to just have a look, because in the last class we have defined what is flexible exchange rate. So just to tell you what it is, flexible exchange rate. So what is flexible exchange rate? That means the exchange rate that does not have no government intervention. Just remember that it's determined by forces of demand and supply. So that is flexible exchange rate. So how is it determined? By demand for foreign exchange. So when you're talking about demand for foreign exchange, what is it? That means your currency is going out. All right. So you're talking about that who are the people who demand foreign exchange? Like, see, when you're demanding it, yeah, so let's just learn it up. Like, I've written S, then I, and then T, just to remember this. Let's take S. S is speculators. So demand for foreign exchange arises when speculators want to make gains from appreciation of currency. Then you need foreign exchange. Then I is importers. The largest demand for foreign exchange comes from the importers who have to make payments for imports of goods and services. Then you have to talk about, we're talking about we're talking about imports. Then we talked about, what have I written here? Investments abroad, yes. When you're talking about investments abroad, that is foreign exchange is also demanded by those who wish to invest, that is to buy land, shares, bonds abroad. So that is SI. Then you have T, that is transfers, unilateral transfers, sending unilateral transfers. That is, foreign exchange is also demanded for making unilateral transfers such as gifts and other transfer payments. And tourism, to undertake foreign tours. For all of this, foreign exchange is needed. And now, what is the relationship between exchange rate and demand for foreign exchange rate? So you can see that figure here, that it is a downward sloping curve. That is, it shows an inverse relationship between exchange rate and demand for foreign exchange. When exchange rate rises, demand for foreign exchange falls, and vice versa. That is why demand curve for foreign exchange becomes downward sloping. So you can see it in the diagram. Okay. So when the exchange rate goes down, there is a increase in foreign exchange demand. And so talking about now, if you say why is the demand curve of foreign exchange downward sloping? So when prices of foreign currency falls, demand for foreign exchange rises because of cheaper imports from abroad. So demand rises. On the other hand, when exchange rate rises, imports become costlier. As a result, imports fall, leading to fall in demand for foreign exchange. So another reason can be when prices of foreign currency fall, it encourages tourism to that country, that foreign country. Therefore, demand for that foreign currency increases. See, on the other hand, when prices of foreign currency, that is exchange rate, rises, it becomes costlier to visit abroad for the domestic residents. So therefore, demand for that foreign currency reduces. So that is regarding demand. So let's talk about supply. Okay, let's just take supply. It is an upward sloping curve, which will tell you all about it. So why is it? Okay, first let's take who supplies? Supply of foreign exchange. So what happens is supply brings in the money. Supply, you're talking about brings in. So what are the main sources of supply of foreign exchange? So let's take exporters. Exporters are the major source of supply of foreign exchange. Exporters, when they sell goods and services abroad, receive foreign exchange. So we are talking about receipts, receiving of foreign exchange. Okay, so also say foreign investment. Foreigners also bring foreign exchange with them when they wish to undertake economic activities in another countries. Foreign investment in a country may take the form of, say, foreign direct investment, etc., portfolio investment, FII. Then let's talk about, say, unilateral transfers from abroad. Supply of foreign exchange also comes in the form of gifts and other remittances from abroad. Then also supply, say, increases because of direct purchases by non-residents. The supply of foreign exchange also comes from the non-residents who make direct purchases in the domestic market. For example, when a foreigner wants to stay at a hotel in India, he needs to have Indian rupees in exchange for foreign currency to pay payment of the hotel bill, and so on. So what is the relationship between exchange rate and supply? Well, there is a positive relationship. There's a direct relationship between exchange rate and supply of foreign exchange. When exchange rate rises, supply of foreign exchange also rises, and vice versa. So that's why the supply curve of foreign currency is upward sloping as shown in the figure. So when the exchange rate rises, supply of the currency increases. When it goes down, it goes down. So again, you can get a question as, why is the supply curve of foreign exchange upward sloping? So the answer could be a rise in exchange rate increases exports, since domestic goods become cheaper for the foreign nationals, and 1 unit of foreign currency can now buy more of domestic goods. This leads to an increase in supply of foreign exchange in the foreign exchange market. And again, if you just take conversely to it, when the exchange rate falls, what happens? It implies appreciation of the domestic currency, so domestic goods become costlier for the foreign nationals, leading to a fall in export demand. So decrease in export leads to a decrease in supply of foreign exchange. So this is how we've just talked about the demand and supply of the foreign exchange, the flexible exchange rate.